What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I just got finished doing the final application on the wedding lawn, and I'm going to take you through that. Now, I want you to stick around to the end of the video for some takeaways on this and try to give you a little bit more of the direction of where this thing is going, where it needs to go, and where I hope it's going to be in the next 2 weeks. So let's jump right into it. This area right down here behind me was the one that had like that pretty thick layer of debris that I put heavier apps of dethatch on. It's come through insanely well, like crazy with how thin this was. But let me show you these irrigation shadows. They get a little more apparent as we go up. This one right here, so you can just see where there's these just patterns where it's not getting good double coverage. See right here, you can tell where the water's really hitting and what's not. Right here, same thing. We're just not quite getting the coverage on those spots. Right there, right here, and over there. So there's a big miss just right here in this section. So I'm going to put this on a manual timer and run a sprinkler that's going to do about a 270-degree spray and just start soaking as much of this area as I can to help try to bring it along, since we're not really getting the overall coverage. Now, again, I think that if the homeowner just comes out here and hand waters these, they should come back fine. I mean, I've recovered stuff worse than this on my own lawn on those rocky sections. You can look at that video right there. But these could just be sort of needled in and fixed, but you could just see them. You can just see these spots, you know, which I don't love, but there's not much we can do about it. So this spot right here behind me was one that was pretty decimated last time I was down here. It had a whole bunch of like tire tracks and things through it where I think some work had been done over here and it just like crushed everything down. It looked like it had just been burned like crazy. So this has actually come in really well. I still have the same issues I was dealing with before, but maybe to a little bit of a lesser degree, and that's these dry spots. So we're gonna look at those, talk about a plan, because fertilizer doesn't do anything for dry spots, only water does. So I think that we can get these resolved within 2 weeks. That one might be challenging, but we'll see what we can do. If you haven't been able to tell already, this grass has absolutely flipped. I mean, 180 for sure. It's just insane how great this place looks from the time that I started to now. It's super thick, it's super dense, it's doing what it's supposed to, it's responding the way it's supposed to, it's doing extremely well in this hot and dry weather that we've been having. And for the most part, I have pretty good success with that RPR going into some of those bare spots, and I'll show you a couple of those because they're sort of all over the place. One is right here. It's just kind of coming in. You can see some that's under here as well that's just going to come out. A couple little weeds in there, that's fine, no big deal. I'm going to say that this should be all the way filled in within 2 weeks by the time everything happens, just with how much has come along so far in about a 2-week time frame with the germination. So I feel pretty good about this, and this is one of the worst areas. A couple of the other ones filled in really well. Let me go show you those real quick. This section was pretty thin. It's come in and it's kind of filled itself in with the bluegrass as well. But this one's moved along really well. This little area over here has done pretty well. the spots with the greatest exposure are definitely the ones that are taking the biggest hit as far as grow in, and you know, a lot of those are just in areas where they're not getting good enough water. Okay, so the final lap is going to be just this big push to get everything dark, thick, whatever. I'm actually going to keep it pretty simple. Now, I had thought about doing something that would be a little more along the lines of like a triple dark combo, but that's really not what's going to happen today. So I'm going to go ahead and run my 1801. I think that this is vitally important right now. I'm going to put a 1/4 pound of in out with that, so I'm going to run it at 16 ounces. Again, this lawn is just under 5,000 square feet, so I'll have to do like 2 full passes with it to get everything knocked out. I'm also going to hit it with GreeneFfect. And I'm going to go with a 9-ounce rate on this. I'm actually going to go pretty heavy with it and blast it out. So that's that one. Last, not least, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with my messy RGS bottle as well, and just give it a little bit of an extra push. So I'm going to do all that. It's going to take me about 30 minutes to spray all this down, and then I'm going to turn the sprinkler on and let it soak into these areas, and then you guys will have to wait for the final to see how it all ended up in 2 more weeks. We just ran the sprinklers over here. You can see it kind of trailing out a little bit to see what's really been going on and why we're getting these like irrigation shadows. I think they're going to be fixed, but I think there's a couple important things to note about, you know, when you're setting up a system. So I'm going to walk you down a few heads here and show you some stuff. So this guy right here that's currently draining out is actually watering in like a 300-degree pattern. So it's coming over here, right? But then as it goes back around, it's watering all of this wildland as well. So this section does not need water. This is not a place that needs water, doesn't need to be irrigated. And adjusting that spray pattern so that it's now doing like 270, it makes a big difference. The same thing was happening down here. There's a head right here, and look at all this water around this thing. So this thing is dumping water, but it was spraying a 360 as well. So it's doing all of this, and that means it's getting half the coverage out here that it really should. Same thing with this one over here. Same thing, spraying all through this stuff and not getting the benefit of the lawn. So I'm just sitting here thinking about how much potential waste there's been and how much we could have been getting onto the lawn. So that's just on this side. This other side didn't get run. There's actually somebody coming up to take a look at a few things up here, so it wasn't really worth it to do a full adjustment when a sprinkler company can do probably a better job than I can. But same thing, it was really easy to see where the pattern was tracking across here. So I adjusted some spray patterns to get the water down a little more. It's still getting head-to-head coverage, so I think we're gonna see that fill in. And then he's gonna monitor these couple spots right here as well, just with some hand watering with a sprinkler. And then that's it. So this lawn has come so far, and I told you at the beginning I wasn't really sure if it was going to be epic, but I knew it was going to be way better than where we started. And for sure, the only thing that we're dealing with right now is just these dry patches. The color is awesome, the density is awesome, stuff filled in. I mean, look at this. It's amazing. This thing has come along so well from that like dried up patch of ground that it once was. It's not 100%, it's not perfect, but a couple good mows and having these brown spots no longer be dry, it's going to be great for the wedding. All right, so clearly there's more work to be done out there. This lawn was neglected long enough that having a turnaround like this in such a short time is pretty fantastic. So there's just a few things that I really want to point out about it and hopefully give a little more direction on where this is going to go and the ultimate goal of that lawn. So I spent a little time with the homeowner today walking around. We ran the sprinklers, we made some adjustments, we did all that, and I think that's going to make the biggest difference on getting this place kind of evened out. by the time this happens in 14 days. I know one thing that can happen for people is that they get worried or they get in their head that they've waited too long to do something, that they're not going to get the result of something. They spend too much time in their head about it, not enough time making things happen, not getting out and putting together an actionable plan. So throughout the course of this year, we've been dealing with this major drought. Things have been dry. I've been trying to keep people watering, but not excessively, just enough to what the turf needs, and keep things moving forward and growing in and thickening up the turf. I've had some tremendous success this year. It's pretty great to not just talk and teach about it. That's one piece of it, but show you what's happening, show you the changes, take you through the processes, show you how the products really work in real world scenarios, not just on a lawn that's, my own that I get to tend for all the time, but something a little more complex than that. These lawns that I've been dealing with, they're not my own. I don't have control over. I do talk to the owners and I say, hey, do this. This is my suggestion. And it's ultimately up to them to follow those directions. It's very much like a professional spray service in that way, where the job of the technician and the job of the turf professional is to go out there, do the application, put the right material down, give the right information, and then it's up to the homeowner to do the rest of the work. So in these cases, I can't be on it every day. I can't get over and look at it every day. I can't make adjustments every day. That's stuff I can do on my own property, and it's just not the case. I suppose the point of it is this: get out and do the work. Get out and do the work. Words without action, meaningless. Doesn't really make a difference at all. You just have to go out, put material down, do the steps, make it work, get the result. That's the bottom line. That's all there is to it. I had 60 days to get this place from crap to, like I said before, it wasn't going to be perfect, but it is pretty fantastic. And I have my fingers crossed for a little help from Mother Nature next week. It looks as though we've got 4 or 5 days of predicted thunderstorms. I pray to God that's going to happen. We have not had any measurable rainfall in I don't know how long now. And if that can kick on, that place will be buff as hell. And that's really what I'm going for. We'll go back to it 2 weeks after everything's done, take another check-in with it. And after that, it's all going to be in the hands of the homeowner to keep that place going strong and looking great, or to whatever standard that they need it to. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll talk to you real soon. See ya.